Hey everyone, it's Gigi. Let's get into it today talking about how to stay grounded in a loving relationship when you're someone who loves so deeply but also loses yourself a bit easily. So, what does it look like when you're not grounded in a relationship? You're losing yourself emotionally. This can look like maybe not getting a response when you thought you would, and going crazy, literally texting them, double texting, triple texting, getting anxious, trying to figure out what they're doing if they're not talking to you, and getting upset or annoyed that you're not the center of their world, which you shouldn't be, right? It can look like abandoning your routines. Maybe you used to wake up every morning, have a slow, beautiful morning with yourself, pray to God, go to the gym, and do things for yourself, and now you're just waking up and waiting for a text message from them instead of doing what you need to go do, or you're texting them, talking to them all throughout your morning, and you're not doing what you typically would. Maybe you're over focusing on them and not remembering your needs. Maybe they want to see you, for instance, and you say yes, you say okay, but you're abandoning something that you need to do for yourself and making them the main focus, which maybe at times it's okay, but if you're doing that every single day, week after week, you're going to end up resenting them and fully abandoning yourself, and you don't want to be ungrounded in that way. And the last sign of this, I would say, is losing connection with yourself, your mind, your body, with God, with your higher power. Once you realize that you don't have that spiritual connection to yourself, to God, how you typically did before, know that you're ungrounded. God is literally who grounds us and who keeps us feeling, like ourselves. Through Him, we feel completely ourselves. So how do you shift this? You really want to make sure that you're grounding yourself first thing in the morning, before anything else happens, in your day. You want to make sure that you're grounded, that you're coating yourself with that peace that you need to get through the day. So what can this look like? Having a morning ritual. For me, it's getting up out of my bed, not looking at my phone, which doesn't always happen. That's a tough one, I feel like it's just, first nature, I guess, to just check your phone and see what has gone on while you were sleeping. But I have stopped scrolling in the morning, which is a plus. I'm not laying in my bed scrolling for 30 minutes, which helps me get to the gym. So yeah, rewinding. I usually get up and sit up in my bed, drink some water, and my phone is across the room typically when I wake up, so that I'm not scrolling or looking through anything. But I usually do have my iPad next to me, because I go to sleep to this sleep meditation, and so that's hard sometimes not to pick up. But usually it's just to check the weather or see what I should wear to go to the gym if my outfit is good. But after all of that, I get up, brush my teeth, and I think what helps is that when you get up, if you are not going to the bathroom to wash your face, brush your teeth, do things to prepare you for your day, you're gonna go back to sleep. So yeah, grounding yourself in the morning is so important by having a routine that you stick to. I really love going to the gym. Going to the gym, I think, is the number one thing that clears me and grounds me for the day, while listening to worship music and just thanking God for what I'm able to do, being able to move our bodies. There's so much gratitude in it for me, and I think gratitude is something amazing that literally just creates so much grounding to be able to move throughout life and not feel like you need your partner to be 100% all of the time, because I think that's rooted in anxiety, to expect your partner to always be there for you 24/7, able to respond quickly. It's unrealistic. And so in having your own ritual, your own routines in the morning, you'll be able to better ground yourself before things during the day try to knock you out, and create dysregulation in your nervous system. So a big part of this is making sure that your nervous system is regulated, and what actually makes you feel calm. So lean on those things. Lean on those things that make you feel calm. Create this mindset in you that everything is okay, that you're okay, and do those things for yourself in the morning, throughout the day. Maybe you have a mat set up throughout the day for yourself, and you stretch throughout the day to reground yourself. It's so important to incorporate these things throughout your day. In this shift, you also want to slow down your reactions, so that you're actually giving a grounded response rather than reacting to something that may happen. And so what I like to do is to drink water, take deep breaths, and think like, okay, if I wanted to say this thing, where would it get me? How helpful would it be for the bond that I'm creating with this person? Are they going to understand where I'm coming from, or is it going to seem like I'm attacking them? You need to sit down and talk to yourself. Listen to the voices in your head and what they're saying at this table. Really just coming into conference about what's going on in your mind, because we can have these different voices in our minds. Maybe the argumentative one, the critical one, the fighter, but then we have the peaceful one, the cheerleader, the supportive voice. We have different voices going on in our minds. So it's so important to slow down your reactions by responding instead. Step into yourself, drop down into yourself, and realize what conversation is going on currently and how can I shift that so that this bond that I'm building with this person can be healthy rather than something toxic, controlling, and just anxiety ridden. And a big question in slowing down your reactions that you want to ask yourself is this grounded or is this anxious? And if you're getting anxious as the response, then you know that it's time to kind of just rewind on that and rework what you really want to say or do. And maybe this relationship isn't fully aligned with you. There are certain questions that you can ask yourself to check in and see, is this relationship aligned with who you are right now? Will it build you? Is it compatible? Because if it's not aligned with you, then it could explain maybe why you're not so grounded. And we could have a different conversation if this person is not aligned with you. But here are some questions that you can ask yourself to just check in about that alignment. Does this connection support my peace? Is this person chaotic? Are they creating very unpeaceful, a very unpeaceful energy in your life? Do they get that, the work that you do is complicated, taxing, or are they just being controlling, manipulative? You want to check in and ask yourself that question before you go changing anything about yourself or shifting how you do things, because your reactions may be coming from actually a very logical place if you are not grounded with someone. So ask yourself, does this connection support my peace? If it doesn't, then maybe it's time to end this connection with that person, unfortunately. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, am I showing up in the ways that I want me to show up? Or are you showing up in ways that this person wants you to show up, or someone else? That's so important to know, because if you're not showing up as the person you want to be showing up as, then maybe the relationship is not aligned. If you're showing up as someone who isn't aligned with who you are, you're essentially abandoning yourself. And it's important to check in with yourself to, once again, see if this is a relationship that is compatible with you. Lastly, I want you to ask yourself, am I still in my body? Are you dissociating? Are you trying to separate yourself from this experience with this person for any reason? Because if you're separating yourself, if you're dissociating, having out-of-body experiences with this person, then they're probably not the best person for you, and you may be compromising yourself in order to push through and be with this person for whatever reason. when really you need to step away. And I get it's so hard to step away from something, especially when you've created such a strong bond, whether it's toxic or not. It's difficult walking away from someone that you feel something with. Because as humans, we all want love. Even if someone doesn't want to admit that, love is something that we all yearn for, no matter what. And so if you have that or feel any, little twinkle of it, I get that it will be hard to walk away. As a woman who loves hard, here's some soft advice for those of you who also love super hard. I want you to learn to pause. You don't always have to fill that space. You don't always have to push to make sure that you feel connected to that person. It's so important to take moments to pause and realize that, okay, this other person can step in and act as well. It's not all on you. So try to pause, try to sit in the silence a little bit more, and not always be the one pursuing the connection. Don't chase emotional closeness. If you're chasing that emotional closeness, then maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe you're with the wrong person, because if there is emotional closeness between you and another person, it should feel natural. It should feel free-flowing. It shouldn't be you chasing that or pushing to have it in any way, shape, or form. If the other person is not putting in the work, then, why are you putting in the work? And in not chasing that emotional closeness, you allow people to show themselves. If maybe before you were chasing this, really wanting it to work out, but now you're giving it that space to breathe, letting the other person reflect, and they don't meet you halfway, then they've shown you themselves. They're showing you that they're not that person who's going to build with you. They just wanted you to build it all on your own and benefit from the beautiful house that you've built for them to live in. And then who knows, maybe they'll kick you out. But that's a whole nother video. But you definitely don't want to be the only one building. You want to step back, notice what the other person is doing, and allow them to build as well. Don't be the only person building the home. Lastly, I want you to root yourself in self-respect. Ask yourself, would the best version of myself who respects herself do this or say that, be in this situation? Root yourself in self-respect, and from there everything will follow. Remember this, your grounding is your power. Those relationships that are meant to stay will stay, but those that are not, especially when you stay grounded, some people just don't like that and they'll naturally fall away. So let that happen and don't chase what is not yours. I'll catch you guys in another video. Leave your thoughts, comments down below, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.